Welcome to Life Transformation Radio. This show is all about life transformations and our journey from where we were to why we are doing what we are doing today. We will discuss the hiccups, the roller coasters, and the blood, sweat, and tears that has been poured out while discovering our purpose. It is all about our transformation. Here is your host, Sean Douglas.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening from wherever you're listening from. Welcome to another episode of Life Transformation Radio. I am your host, Master Resilience Implementer, TEDx speaker, business positioning strategist, and international best-selling author, Sean Douglas. This show is currently heard in over 74 countries. So whether it's your first time joining us or you've been listening to us for some time, I want to thank you to those who are listening from around the world. Life Transformation Radio is all about our transformation. Here, we tell the stories of why we're doing what we're doing. We highlight that transformational moment that changed our lives and how we use it to then transform others and elevate their lives as well. You can listen to us live right here on the Blog Talk Radio Network, Tuesday through Friday at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Join our Facebook group, Life Transformation Radio Community, and never miss an episode by subscribing wherever it is that you listen to podcasts. Life Transformation Radio can be heard on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spreaker, Spotify, TuneIn, Player FM, Radio Public, Overcast, Castbox, the Himalaya app, Google Play Music app, and now we are available on Pandora. Wherever it is that you listen to podcasts, be sure to subscribe to Life Transformation Radio. And I ask that you leave a rating and review so that we know how we're doing. On the show, my guests are entrepreneurs, speakers, business owners, coaches, podcasters, and authors. Basically amazing human beings that are impacting the world around them. And my guest today has done exactly that. If you have any questions for any of the guests that I bring on the show during our live broadcast, call us up at 657-383-1109. Again, the number, 657-383-1109. And with that, please help me welcome to the show my guest for today, Julie Steelman. Julie, welcome to Life Transformation Radio.
Thank you, Sean. I'm so excited to share this mic space with you.
I'm pumped. I was reading your stuff, reading your bio, doing a little background stuff, and wow, that's all I got to say. Wow. Crushing it. Like iconic crushing it.
Well, thank you. I'm humbled when I think about you and we have different life paths, but we have moments in our story that are parallel, and I am very moved by who you are and what you do, and I'm impressed with you just as much. So who knows, I might ask you a juicy question.
Oh, let's do this. This is getting even better. That's going to be awesome. So the title of the episode is The Effortless Yes System with financial coach Julie Steelman. She has earned her way out of the corporate world at the young age of 47 by unlocking the secrets to a new style of feminine earning power, generating over $100 million in advertising revenue during the rapid rise of the internet. Julie is known as a financial freedom and wealth building coach for entrepreneurs, supporting her clients in changing their financial destiny and embracing their full future potential. Her powerful courses and programs are designed to revolutionize women's relationship to money, resulting in a healthy self-worth that leads to a robust net worth. She is a certified feminine power coach, holds a master's degree in spiritual psychology, and a 25-plus year career in iconic corporate brand sales. Julie loves to integrate the arts into her work as an intentional creativity teacher and an award-winning wildlife photographer. Julie's highly praised book for female entrepreneurs, The Effortless Yes, and her very successful programs like the Effortless Selling System, Change Your Financial Destiny, and Blossom and Roar are evolving the financial status of today's Entrepreneurial Women. You can go to Julie Steelman, Steelman, juliesteelman.com. Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, right there in the show notes. Connect with her and let us know that you heard her episode of Life Transformation Radio. Julie, my first question for you that I have to ask, and I'm dying to know, is why? What is your deep why for what you do?
My deep why for what I do, it started when I was really little. I was 7 years old. Every Sunday night, we'd watch Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom. And I was this little girl enthralled with videos of leopards and lions and zebras and giraffes. And I had this moment where I just knew that I had to go to Africa before I died. And then the next thing that came was, that means I'm going to have to make my own money. That means I have to have my own financial ability to make decisions to do what I want when I want. I don't know why I came out of the womb kicking and screaming with like, find me the path to freedom, but put me on it. And my why is what I discovered over the years of decision making and following through on this dream of a little girl who just wanted to go to Africa, and following the road to discovering financial freedom is that you get to reframe life all the time, and you get to follow through on the thing that is your deep dream that has a hold on your heart and feels like everything that your soul wants to express. It's almost like the reason you gave birth for, right? I want everybody to have that for themselves and have the ability to follow through on the thing that really makes them come alive, makes them feel whole. And I also believe for men too, I know I talk a lot about women and the feminine, but everybody to have their own financial power so that those who have a lot of money can't inappropriately wield power over us, right? I want us all to be standing in our own power in integrity and in honor and acting with ethics towards each other, because then I think a lot of misuses of power go away. That's my why.
That is huge. Huge. And there's so much to talk about in there.
Yeah.
What stuck out to me is when I hear somebody's why, and it includes another country, or it includes other people, or it includes, like, it's not just you, but it's bigger than that. Like that, to me, it just hits me in the feels. You know, it was somebody, and now I think everybody's why is awesome, but I just want to say that when I hear somebody say, you know, I was down in the dumps and this, that, and, you know, I really wanted to give back, and, you know, that's my why, whatever. Or I hear somebody go, you know, I traveled to another country, and I'm just, holy smokes, like, that's a deep why. You know, it's emotional, it's powerful, it's right. So I had a friend of mine on the show, and he's like, yeah, my why, actually, I think it found me. But, you know, I was in an ashram in, like, India or something, or wherever. I was like, a what? Like, I had to look that up. I'm like, it's a what? So, like, he traveled, like a whole bunch of continents, you know, just on a center of self, you know, like trying to find his center, on a journey. So I love everything about that, and it was just absolutely incredible. After you said that, what really kind of stuck out for you? What are you kind of thinking right now?
You know, a couple of things. I mean, I think the biggest undertone of all of this is that my life experience had me discover that I get to be a really powerful co-creator with the divine, the spiritual world, God, whatever that is for you. And even if you don't have one, that's okay too, right? It's like, and not about judging that at all. But I think there's this inner calling in us, and that the magic about following that thing that feels really maybe odd or scary or weird or not big enough, but it has a lot of energy in it, is it's like a rose blossoming, right? It unfolds all these other layers that are completely unpredictable. And there's all this possibility that you open up to, and then things that you would call a miracle actually become probable things in your life, Like, I go to Africa once a year now. Who knew? But it also led me on
Wow.
this journey of understanding as a woman in corporate America, in sales, starting in the 80s. Yes, I just dated myself. But, it's like the guys didn't know what to do with me. And I love men. I got nothing against men at all. Right. But they didn't know what to do with me. They're like, what's a chick doing in our world? And, and there's a lot of stuff about that. And I think we get so thwarted as human beings because we listen to society, we listen to other people, we listen to the outer world, and we forget to listen to our own inner truth. And I listened to mine, and it became an unwavering non-negotiable. And so all these things that people were throwing at me in the 80s and the 90s and the early 2000s about women and money, and you're not good with money, and you're not supposed to talk about money, and it's not feminine, and people won't like you, and you'll be looked at as like the too big for your britches, and the girls won't like you because they'll be jealous and all that nastiness, right?
Oh, man.
And it was just like, I'm not going to live beholden to that stuff. And so you start walking through, when you're on this path of your why, you start reframing everything so that you set yourself up for success. I think it's one of the biggest secrets to finding success, because there's the outcome that you were going for. All I wanted to do was go to Africa. It doesn't seem like that big of a deal. But for a little kid who has no way of doing that, who is living in a family that is like, they're scared to death of leaving their zip code. And here I am, this international global person who came out of the womb that way. Only way I'm going to do that is if nobody's in my way telling me what to do. Right? And so what's your dream?
For sure.
And follow it, because there's so much more than just the end game. There's what you discover along the way. And I know that's super cliche, but I wouldn't be sitting here today at 59 years old with an incredible body of work about money systems, and about business models that create wealth, and how to do that on your own terms, and sitting here financially free, not having to work. That was not probable given my family circumstances. We weren't poor, but I wasn't going to retire at 47 if I just kept following what everybody told me to do.
Oh, 100%. Which, just dated yourself for real.
For sure.
But you make a point. And what stuck out for me and what I heard you say was that I'm not going to let anybody stand in my way.
Yeah.
Right. So there's a theme there. Your why was about making sure, or verifying, or any kind of synonym. You wanted to make sure, like, is this really for me? Am I really on my path? Like, I really want to be sure about this. To, I'm now sure, and no one will stand in my way. And I noticed that transformation from the why to the I'm not going to let anybody stand in my way. And that's what the show is all about. The show is about finding our transformation. Where did you find it? What does it look like? How have you used it? So I ask you, what is your transformational moment that changed your life and then put you on the path to what you're doing today?
Yeah, I think I had a series of them. Like, if we were to map out a timeline, there's like this continuum that kept reminding me. It reminded something happened in college that reminded me. And there's two that are really profound. And one is, I think after 2 weeks of working in corporate right after graduating college, I was like, oh, good Lord, holy hell, get me out of here. It was like, I couldn't imagine myself in this world where it's so dominant in terms of rules and control, and then managing, like, well, we'll help you grow your career. And it's like, no, we're going to slow you down. Right. And the environment at that time, anyway, when I started in corporate, was it kind of looked like you sat outside someone's office in a cubicle, and in December, they'd decide if you got a 2.5% raise once a year if you behaved well. And that whole paradigm was so foreign to who I was as a person, that what this really ended up doing was showing me that being true to myself didn't mean conforming to what looked like was the thing you were supposed to do, right? And for whatever reason, I'm a real fierce rebel in that way. And that was a one moment, and I had another one. I was in the water in the Caribbean with dolphins, and they were 4 dolphins, and they were mating, and I was the only one watching them. And I watched this ballet play out, and I said to myself, I will never, ever again be in the water without a camera in my hand. And I went back home, and I found a guy who taught underwater photography. Within 6 months, I met my husband. Within 3 years after that, we retired. We pulled our resources. We figured out how to get out. And we in that 3 years, we just totally amplified our money. And then we moved to Hawaii, and we started traveling the world. And it was the first trip we took to Africa. And it was like, I want people to know that when you follow that moment of inspiration, of transformation, what you're talking about, it just keeps lighting up the next one, and then the next one, and then the next one. And you find that you're on this golden through line that really is the true life journey you were meant to live.
I think that's what we're all searching for, is our life journey that we are meant to live. Because God forbid it sucks that you go 30 years in the wrong career in the wrong direction.
Right.
And
what sucks more, or what's more tragic, is if you had awarenesses or knowings or moments or wake up calls and you didn't listen.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. I've always said that I want to hear an audible tone. Like if there's a God out there, I want him to whisper into my ear. I want to know that, because ask, seek, knock, right? I'm a very knowledgeable person. And some of what I know I believe, some of what I know is something I read in a book, and it's just I know stuff. I believe, because I'm a Christian, that if the Bible was made out of plastic, but the cover said genuine leather, I would believe that plastic is genuine leather. I just believe cover to cover. If it said it was written in New York, it was written in New York. If it's written in Portuguese, but it's plainly English, I'm still going to believe that it's Portuguese. That's how much I believe what's in the Bible. With that said, ask, seek, knock, everything. I'm like, what the heck? I don't hear nothing. I've asked. It's not coming. Like, what's going on? Now I got to decipher. I'm like, well, what does this mean? This is the stupid conversations I have with myself. And usually in the shower. I don't know about y'all, but, I have shower epiphanies. And so I'm having conversation with myself, and I feel like when I hear certain things like, for I know the plans I have for you and all that, I'm like, well, what are they? Tell me. Why are we waiting? What are we waiting for? Just tell me what your plans are so I can do them. Like, this is what I'm asking God for. Like, please tell me your plans. I want to hear it. I want to feel it. I want to know it. What are we doing? And then crickets. It sucks. God forbid you go 30 years in one direction and then come to find out, I know people who get divorced after 20 years of marriage. Like, what was the point of that?
It feels, I think from the human side, it's really rational to go there, right? And it's not that and when we ask these questions from our human side, we're forgetting to listen to the inside. And that, right? And it's like, I think it's a mystery. And for me, I call it wild instinct because, I'm a wildlife photographer also. And I'm so when I'm in the bush, I'm in my zone, right? I think I'm way more animal than human. It's a weird thing. I can't explain it to people, but it's I feel like I'm a leopard, stalking prey to a degree of using that kind of inner sight of navigating which corner, which is the right move, which way to go. And I'm listening to something. What am I listening to? Is it me that already knows? No, because if I already knew, I'd put my feet up on the couch, eat potato chips, and forget all about going for the ride. It's an unraveling of the mystery, and I don't think instructions come in the way humans expect them to. Unfortunately, I got bad news for you.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
My husband dying suddenly, unexpectedly, the most healthy man on the planet, in the midst of an epic marriage, an ecstatically happy life. And it's like, what do I make sense of that? Why? What for? we were on the gravy train. Why would you interrupt us? And really unraveling the mystery of that. It took me 7.5 years to unravel that mystery. I'll probably still unravel, but you ask a really profound question of it's like trying to leapfrog and get in front of that transformational moment, but we actually don't know when it's coming.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I 100%, absolutely 100% agree with that. What I'm curious about too, inside of this transformational moment,
mm-hmm.
and I'm not sure I caught it, or maybe it just got glossed over, but we're talking about earning your way out of the corporate world at the age of 47.
Yeah.
Right? You said young age of 47.
Yeah.
And just for me growing up, and people are winding down their life at 47.
Yeah.
And they're thinking about retirement. 47, I'm almost 50. It's time to retire. It's time to kind of settle down. Not you. And you were just beginning. It seems like.
Yeah, I've always said that I was a late bloomer, but at least I bloom. That's whole. Awesome. I intended that since I was a little kid, and I intended it through college and the career I picked by going into sales. And I mastered a selling system that worked for me, that was full of honor and integrity and of being of high service to clients and matching up, products and services with their needs so that they got the results, exceeded the results. It was like joining in on a partnership. And I was all about, my mantra became, the more I make, the more I get to keep, the sooner I get to be free. Right. And it was it wasn't that I wanted to stop working or contributing in the world. I just stopped wanting to be in a world that was trying to tell me how I should live my life inside corporate.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, because, military probably wouldn't be a good place for you.
No, probably not. But you know what? I have the deepest regard and respect for all military. I really do. For what you guys agree to and what you guys put your life on the line for, and the impact on all levels that it can have. And I don't think that, or I should say that it almost doesn't matter as much where it is that you do your journeying. That we all have landmines and speed bumps in different kinds of forms. And it wouldn't minimize at all. I don't know what it's like to be on a battlefield. It wouldn't minimize that experience at all, and I'm not trying to do that. I'm saying that we all have our demons and our crosses to bear and our growth edges, and we find them in whatever we're doing. What I'm trying to say is it's even more powerful if what you're doing is in alignment with your inner instincts about what you want to be doing.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely, 100%. What's funny is I have conversations with people, and they're like, "Oh, it looks kind of cool. You get to drive tanks." I'm like, "No, I was Air Force." Like, "Oh, you get to fly airplanes." I'm like, "No, I didn't get to fly anything." Well, you get to go down range and you're shooting it then sometimes, but it's really not that fun. It's not all it's glammed up to be. Get shot at and returning that's not really fun. But then they turn around in the same breath and go, "Yeah, but I probably couldn't do that because I'm not really that disciplined." And I was like, "Well, you about to learn today." So I tell everybody, "He's like, we about to learn today." Yeah. So I was a drill instructor for basic training for 4 years. And I've seen some of the kids. I was like, "Oh God, this is hopeless. Not this one.
Yeah.
I think this one's not going to do it." And then it turns out to be, just fine. It just conforms naturally because he just conformed. He just did it. So I never count anybody out, and anybody can be taught, and anybody can be trained. And doing it for 4 years, I learned about our transformations that we go through, which is huge. Because you could keep going through the same moment over and over again. It was like, this always happens to me. Every time I hear this, I always lose my wallet. Man, I always get caught by the cops speeding, or I always get into an argument with my wife about dinner, or I like when I hear things like that, like I always, and then there's something going on, like change your behavior,
Yeah.
transform, stop. Like if you always, that's you haven't learned the lesson. That's you haven't learned the lesson. If you've done something 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times over and over and over again, and it's always had a terrible outcome, you need to change the actions that you're taking because you're having a bad outcome. So to change the outcome, you have to change the action.
Yeah, it's clear. I think
Right?
after time number 2, the inner flag mic up and go, oh, maybe this is a pattern and I'm the common denominator.
Right?
Yeah, the thing is with the financial freedom thing, and, is like, it was a particular line that I was holding. It was also an experiment and an inquiry. It was like a living inquiry. And I would parallel that, and you can shoot me down on this if you want to, but as a drill sergeant, you're holding a line of what you see possible for people and conforming. But the difference about the military is it's life-saving. That's not what corporate's about, right? I don't even think you can compare the two. That's a different thing.
Right.
You guys have, military's perfected the art of how to save lives and produce results. That's a pretty epic undertaking, right? And that's a different thing than being in corporate America. But as a drill sergeant, you're holding that same kind of line that I'm talking about. If this is what you really want and you feel really called by it, or whatever it is you feel really called by, one of the best ways to get there is, really to be holding that line for yourself of being the best and being on that path.
It's having personal standards that are not negotiable.
Yeah.
That's what we need. We need personal standards. And I'm always talking about always talking about that. Someone will say something like, so you're telling me that I can't work on a $34 million aircraft because I can't button my pocket? How can I trust you to work on that aircraft or that part or do the job or save a life if you don't have the simple discipline to button a pocket? If you forget your pocket to be buttoned, what else are you forgetting in life? Because I believe that how you do anything is how you do everything. And they're like, oh, I don't believe that. I don't know. Like there's things that I don't want to do that I kind of just half-ass, but if I really love it, then I go all the way. So really, I don't do anything, I don't do everything like halfway, but I mean, some things I do, I just don't care about them. And I said,
right.
And what else are you? They're like, well, I mean, there's a couple things. I'm like, so how you do anything is how you do everything. How you do anything that you don't like is how you do everything you don't like. How you do everything that you love is how you do anything you love is how everything you do that you love. And so you can correlate that between the both. What I love is that people want to say, well, I have discipline in certain areas but not others. It doesn't work that way. In my mind, it doesn't work that way. You can't have discipline in your personal life and not have discipline in business life, or have discipline in your business life and not in your personal life. Yeah. I asked a question on stage when I'm speaking to people. How many of you right now have invested in a coach? You have a business coach. You're a coach.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a great question for you. Oh my God, I'll reveal mine if you reveal yours.
Okay.
How much, I'm not going to use a dollar amount, but how much, little, a lot, enough, whatever, have you invested in business knowledge, mentorship, coaching, online programs? It's probably a lot, right?
Oh, yeah. Well, I'll tell you the number.
How much? Oh, I mean, if you want.
100,000.
Oh, yeah. I'm at like 50 something. 50.
Yeah.
About 54,000 in about 2.5 years. So
mine comes with a little disclaimer that part of it was while I was still a grieving widow, so I wasn't making perfect choices.
Oh wow! Yeah, right, right. Yeah, definitely. Okay, so my main question is, how much money? Now, so you've got so coaches, business books, courses online, like all that stuff, right? Now, Now, have you invested in becoming an amazing spouse, an amazing woman, an amazing sister, an amazing mom, an amazing human being, period? Compare how much money you've spent on being awesome at business
Yeah.
compared to how much money you've spent being an awesome person. I guarantee you it's less.
It's definitely less, but that investment's there. But I think you're making a really good point. Really powerful point.
I've invested probably less than $1,000 on how to be a good Christian, on how to be a great dad,
Yeah.
on somebody teaching me how to be an amazing spouse. I've done marriage counseling before, but that was free. But if you really internalize what I'm saying,
Yeah.
we spend so much money, and this I can't believe, like, it just blows my mind what I'm thinking right now. It blows my mind how many people invest in thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars in programs and products and services, and they either don't finish the online course, or they finished it and it's awesome and they made some money and then they're addicted to making money. So then they turn around and have to go invest in a coach, invest in a mentor, or whatever. And people see that. People see it. They're like, oh my God, he's awesome at business, whatever. But what they don't do is invest in how to be an awesome spouse, an awesome parent.
Mm-hmm.
They don't invest in learning that because nobody sees that. And if they do, it's because I want to put on Facebook that I'm an awesome parent because I took my kids to Disney World.
Right.
I don't want to look like I don't want to look bad in front of people. This right now that I'm saying blows my mind.
I think it's very sobering. And I'm also hearing you really talk about, you're talking about the guy who doesn't button his pocket, but he's designing a $30 million, working on a $30 million aircraft. It's this, like, all of this boils down to a personal honor code of impeccability with yourself and how you show up in life in all areas, right? My big investment was a master's degree in spiritual psychology, and I'm still part of the community. And that was all about, clearing out the misunderstandings and judgments and limiting beliefs in a humongous kind of a way. And am I perfect? No. Do I use that toolbox as much as possible? Yeah, I do. And I hang around people who call me on my stuff. I was talking to one of my best friends today. She goes, I need to give you a reflection. Do you know that you do blah, blah, blah? And I'm like, and she said it very lovingly. And I was like, I had no idea. I'll look at that. She goes, that's just bringing your energy down. You don't need to do that. And so it's like, I think part of it is too, picking really good people to be around. I feel like there's a lot of winging it going on. And
oh my gosh, yeah.
Right? And it's like, if we were to listen, you're listening to a part of yourself that's like, how do I be a better dad? If we're to dig into that and get really esoteric, it's like, who's asking that question?
Mm-hmm.
What's asking that question?
I was just yeah.
Maybe that's one of those transformational clues you were looking for.
Yeah. I was just going to say, what makes you ask that?
Yeah.
You know what made me ask? Because everybody's like, so the why is number one. You have to have a why.
You have to have a why.
And asking why is always amazing. Like, why am I feeling this way? Why am I not happy today? Why am I not feeling gratitude? Why am I, whatever. You could also reframe the question into your what. What makes me ask this question? You could say, why am I asking this question? Why is the most asked question in the world? This person wrongs you. Why would they do that to me? People hit you from behind. You get in a car accident. Oh, why did this happen? Why? We always want to ask why. We want to know why because we want to know the reasons. We cannot let anything go. We have to have closure. Everybody has to have closure. But the what, I think, is just as important. What makes me do this radio show? Why would I do this radio show? Because I love it.
Yeah.
Because I love doing the show. I started this show in February of 2017. I knew where podcasting was going. I said, I got to do podcasts. I have to do a radio show. But I wanted to be different. I don't want to do just a podcast. I want it to be different. So now the show is live every Tuesday through Thursday at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time, and people can call into the show. They can ask questions. What podcast do you know that is actually happening? If people want to call into the show right now, they can call at 657-383-1109. They can call up and ask a question to the guests. What I've had people call from Australia, Virginia. There's a guy named Hugh who lives in Virginia, in the mountains of Virginia. He calls in every once in a while when I have a veteran on. Dude's awesome.
Yeah.
I've had people call from Australia, from Europe. I've had people call from all over the world. What podcast do you know that does that? Like, I have to be different. But in the same breath, I'm like, what keeps me going? What makes me keep doing this? But it's the guests. It's you, Julie. It's you. You make me do this because I get to have an amazing transformational conversation with somebody. And the conversations that we need to have are getting tougher and tougher and tougher.
We don't have a lot of conversations that have depth and meaning to them. And I would love to see us do more of that, which when I met you a couple months ago, that was one of the first things that really zeroed in on you was like, this guy is totally who he is. He's authentic. And he wants to have conversations that are meaningful for people, that make a difference. And I've got nothing but respect for that, and I do too. I want to help people have what they want to have. And I think the why, there's even more to it. I think it has to be aligned. It has to be aligned with something bigger, that it's taking you somewhere, that it's growing you, right? It's like I could say my why was to have financial freedom because I wanted to have, 20 million in the bank so that I could go blow up, boats in the middle of Hawaii where no one saw me just for the hell of it, right? Or I could go do something else. But it was really the heart of a philanthropist that says, I want to do something good and I want to be in charge of that money. And I want to be able to make my own choices in my own way so I stay true to who I am.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I feel like we have to fix what's going on inside of us first before we can fix the world.
100%. Well, when we do that, the world will become much better already on its own, right? Because we won't be acting in ways that are destructive.
Right. Yeah, I call it self-defeating behaviors. And you talked earlier about the who. Who is it that is helping in your transformation? Who is helping in your life? Who are we elevating? I call it your board of directors. You have to have a board of directors for your life. If every CEO of a major company and corporation has board meetings and they're talking with the vice presidents and the board members, are you having board meetings at your house? At the dinner table, are you having a board meeting with your spouse and kids? Like, hey guys, just want to really, I see that you're trashing the house a little bit, or hey, you're not cleaning your room, or hey, I see you've been really talking back lately. Like, what's going on with you, right? Like having board meetings. We have board meetings every day. My family and I, we never used to sit at the dinner table to have dinner. We used to be on our phones and TV was on and kids would be, we're just distracted. We shut everything off now. No phones at the table, no radio, no nothing. Nothing. It's nothing. And so that has brought us closer together just in itself. It's those little changes and transformations that take place that really transform us into who we're becoming. And my mentor, John Vroman, said something in one of his speeches that has just stuck with me. We remember people as they are, as they grow up, or as they were, instead of thinking about who they could become. And I was like, oh my gosh, I do this to my kids. That's crazy.
That's crazy. But I think it goes right back to your point about the transformational moments. Is like when you have that why that's really aligned and you keep asking like a growth edge question or a question that takes you into a new inquiry, is you show up as a natural leader, and you're showing up that way in your family as a natural leader. And that is causing them to have transformational moments, causing them to have different kinds of experiences than if you just went with the flow or the status quo, or didn't call them to task on, hey, put the phone away. I think there's something really powerful here that you're sharing about, that when you're walking a line like that, you have that personal honor code going, and you have impeccability with yourself and what it is that you really want to cause and create and be known for, or live a life of, whatever you fill in the blank, listeners fill in the blank, whatever it is that's really moving you, calling you, it changes things because you show up as a leader when you're unwavering about following through on the thing that's calling you. And that thing that calls you shows up in all the areas of your life, as you were saying earlier.
Yeah. Yep. 100%. I 100% agree with that. So, Julie, let's close this out. We got a couple minutes left, and what I want to do is plug your programs, products, services, whatever it is that you offer people. How do you elevate the world around you? Tell us, what you have going on and how people can coach with you.
Yeah, well, thank you for asking that question and humbly answer it. But I have a program that I've developed called Called by Freedom. It'll be launching super soon. And it's really about designing for entrepreneurs that are mission driven and soulful or feel very called by fulfilling a purpose. To develop business models that make what they do sustainable, that fund their mission and allow them to build wealth so they can take care of their and their family's well-being in the process. And they can come to my website, juliesteelman.com. I've got a free gift. You can book a time to talk to me if you want. Love talking to people and hearing about their business models, but I'm all about really supporting people, especially entrepreneurs, in having a financial breakthrough and getting on the road to financial freedom, that whatever that means for them.
Love it. Oh my gosh. Rock star. Because right now it is January 15th and everybody right now for the past 2 weeks has been trying to crush it so hard and so fast that people I know for a fact are starting to burn out. And this episode is timely. Yeah. If you want to crush it financially in 2020, you must connect with Julie, and she will transform your financial standing in 2020. Julie, end this with a takeaway. What is the one thing that you want the audience and listeners to know and understand? If they listen to any other part of the episode right here, what is it that you want them to know and understand?
What I want you to know and understand is to drop any worry or doubt that you have about yourself or pleasing other people and deeply tune into that experience, that life, that thing that you most deeply yearn for, and follow it through, because I promise you it is a golden through line to fulfilling your destiny, to knowing who you truly are and showing up as the most potent person you can this lifetime.
What a great way to end the show. Julie, you are a rock star. Absolutely amazing. This is by far one of the best conversations I've had on this show so far this year. And in past episodes, this is really one that's going to stick with me. We really went super deep on this. And if anybody is listening, please share this episode. Connect with Julie. Let her know that you heard her episode of Life Transformation Radio. And Julie, I wish you the best in 2020.
And I wish you the best in this decade, Sean. And for that, everything that you put out there for your family and for your clients and for your listeners all comes back to you times 10.
Thank you so much. Life Transformation Radio listeners, an amazing guest impacting the world around her. If anything's resonated with our conversation with Julie Steelman today on Life Transformation Radio, please connect with her, send her a message, friend request her, and let her know that you heard the episode on Life Transformation Radio. And with that, I close the show by saying, live your brand. Find opportunities every day to live out the core values that you hold deep in your heart. And I call this living your brand. So until next episode, live a great life.